ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Friday, July 17th. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line this hour, 304-396-TALK. That is 304-396-8255. Coming up today, we've got Michael Adams joining us from West Virginia Sports Digest. He was covering Sunbelt Media Days. A few days ago, East and West Division got together and talked about the upcoming season. We'll get Michael's perspective on everything. Of course, Michael used to work in Texas. He's a Marshall grad, but used to cover Texas State. So he's got an interesting perspective on the Sun Belt, and he brings that to the show here in just a few minutes. But until then, we'll get that text line open for you, as it is the Friday before the weekend. That means we got a lot to get into sports-wise. We've got the alert just as I walked in the studio and sat down and opened back up the laptop. So because of the dangerous air quality in Cleveland, and I was kind of curious if this was going to happen, tonight's game has been postponed. It's going to be made up tomorrow. They've got a split doubleheader. Game one's going to be a 1:10 first pitch. That's a 12:45 airtime. And game two will be a 7:10 first pitch with a 6:45 airtime. So the Pirates not going on the air tonight due to air quality in Cleveland. So I'm glad we got that update as we hit the air. No baseball tonight, but the rest of the schedule looks like it's still good to go, and there's already one game that's in the books, and the Red Sox got the victory over the Rays 10-0. Red Sox had 15 hits. Rays could only manage 3 hits. Games that are going on tonight, the Dodgers will face off against the Yankees at 7:05. Also, it will be the White Sox and the Blue Jays. Rays have got another game against the Red Sox in a doubleheader. That's coming up tonight, 7:10 as well. 7:15, Rangers and Braves. Marlins Brewers at 7:40. Twins Cubs at 8:05. Orioles and Astros at 8:10. Padres Royals at 8:10. As we go down the list for the nightcaps, 8:40 will be the Reds and the Rockies. Tigers and Angels at 9:38. Cardinals, they've got the Diamondbacks to worry about, 9:40 tonight. Nationals and Athletics at 9:40 as well. And then the very late game for us here on the East Coast, it'll be 10:10 start, the Giants taking on the Mariners. So we've got all of that to look forward to as baseball continues, and it is back. The World Cup will continue as well. We're down to the third place game and the championship. Third place game will be France and England, and that's going to be a 5 o'clock game on Saturday. Remember the third place game? It used to be the third place game in an NCAA tournament. I never watched the third place game. Now it's different, and I should walk that back a little bit. I'm not going to, but I should, because I will watch a bronze medal game. At the Olympics, yeah, if it's a bronze medal, if my team's in the bronze medal game, I'm watching the bronze medal game. If it's a sport I care about, I'm watching the bronze medal game. This is basically the third place game. Hey, we're number 3, and France and England playing for third place, and then on Sunday it'll be Spain and Argentina. That is going to be a 3 o'clock game Sunday, and then the World Cup will conclude. And how many stadiums will keep the grass that they had to put down to host the World Cup games? I know Jerry Jones has got that stuff ripped up already in Dallas. Come on, Jerry, couldn't we keep the grass? Had the tinted windows. I really thought that there were some nice improvements there. Instead, no, got to take that grass up. I wonder how the players would react, thinking, hey, we might actually get to play on grass. And no, that's not happening. That's not happening in Dallas, and Jerry Jones not going to do that. So no grass for you. But I'm kind of curious, will some of the other stadiums keep the grass? And I know that's come up before. It's preferred. That's what people want to play on. More stadiums, more grass, better control of injury, right? I know that's a topic for another day. And, of course, there's a cost to all of that. So we'll get your text in as we keep an eye on everything. Let's see. Texter says, Paul, hey, Paul, thank goodness Reds baseball is back on. But How about John Elmore? A solid game again last night with the Lakers. John's building up that tape, isn't he not? That's the thing about John, is he's got the ability to keep this going for a long time to come. And I think that he can. I mean, the Lakers won that game against the Bulls 105-82. And if you look at Elmore, he had 11 points in 19 minutes, came off the bench. So 11 points, 19 minutes. He was 3 of 5. That includes 3 of 4 from the 3 of 4 from the three-point line, and he hit his only free throw shot. He had a rebound, 5 assists. That's a John Elmore stat right there. Did have a turnover, no big deal. Defensive rebound as well. Played with a couple of personal fouls. He was +2 on the night. So 11 points. It's a good showing. Does that mean he's going to make the Lakers? No, but it means that he's going to extend his career. Somebody else is going to pick him up or take him on. Maybe he's going to find a different contract overseas. Maybe he's going to, continue his career in the G League. After all, he is battling father time, it feels like. He's the oldest guy in the G League. But he's still playing at a good, strong level. This is definitely a nice career that he has put together for himself. I mean, there are a lot of guys that can make a nice career for themselves and not get to the NBA. That's one thing that we try to keep an eye on. How are the Marshall guys doing elsewhere instead of just the NBA? You look at overseas, you look at the G League, you look at the Summer League, you see where these guys are at. I know the TBT really doesn't have my interest this year for obvious reasons, not including the Herd That team. So with that said, Summer League has definitely been a good distraction for those of you who like basketball. It's really been fun. And, of course, for those of you that love baseball, it's back. We've got baseball doubleheader tomorrow, as we just got the alert as I went on the air. And the game tonight has been postponed. It will be tomorrow, 1:10 first pitch. And then the second game will be a 7:10 first pitch. And we'll have those for you right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. All right, well, let's get to the schedule portion of the program when we continue. Michael Adams joins us, West Virginia Sports Digest. We'll get his thoughts and takeaways from Sunbelt Conference Media Days when we continue on today's edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Hometown Chevrolet is your home for the new 30-mile-per-gallon Chevy Trax SUV with 0% financing available. They also have 0% financing for a full 5 years on new 2026 Chevy Silverado 1500s. Plus, no payment for 90 days and free oil changes for life. Their used vehicles are priced to move with the payments you want, from low APRs to credit rebuilding. They've got you covered. Together, let's drive. Hometown Chevrolet, Waverly, Ohio, the heartbeat of America. Everything you need right here at home. Offer ends 8/3/26.
Shop from people that care about the bluegrass.
Fast, friendly, and ready when you are. Clark's Pump and Shop.
Hey, stop at Clark's before we hit the pool.
At Clark's Pump and Shop, we care about the community. Download the Clark's Rewards app and save on fuel, snacks, and drinks all season long.
Clark's was a great call.
Cool off at Clark's Pump and Shop.
Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Summer starts here. It's Moses Auto Mall of Huntington 9th Street Live every Friday night in Huntington. Presented by Michelob Ultra, White Claw, Big Timber, and Country Boy Brewing. Friday, July 17th, it's Collins Career Center Night featuring William Matheny with Charlie Overman. The Little Caesars Kid Zone is back, and Gomart Happy Hour starts at 5. Enjoy 9th Street libations from the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe, Sip Downtown Brasserie, and Summit Beer Station, featuring Tito's, Milagro Tequila, Rebel Bourbon, High Noon, and Lucky One. The after-show party takes place at Jerk Riley's at Pullman Square. Mark your calendar for August 7th for ONA. The Thundering Herd Rally with Madhouse is August 14th. Sponsored by Wendy's, Huntington Beverage Center, Sods, Apex Tech, The Great Outdoors Marine, Village Caregiving, Thoroughbred Express Wash, the City of Huntington, Marshall University, Blinko Glass Company, Marshall Health Network Arena, and Kendrick Communications.
Save big on everything for your next project when you shop at Menards. Give your walls a fresh, updated look with Pittsburgh's Ultra Interior Paint. It's a paint and primer in one that provides a durable, washable finish. Choose from thousands of color options to customize your living space. View our entire selection of paint products today on Menards.com. Plus, check out the weekly flyer to view all of our great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
Metro Community Federal Credit Union now brings you all the tech that big banks have, but still has that personal touch of a member-owned community credit union. Apple Pay? Got it. Digital wallet? Yep. Message pay by text, online loan payments, even chatting with a real person, not a bot. Open accounts, sign documents, and manage your money all online. It's the big bank tech you need from the local community-minded credit union you trust. Metro Community FCU. Visit metrocommunityfcu.com today.
Hi, this is Dave Wilson, host of Metro News Talk Line, and you're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Thank you, Dave. Don't forget, start your weekday off right. Tomorrow is Saturday. Sunday is the day after. You got a whole weekend to get ready for Dave. Monday morning, 10:06, right here at ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. As we get you set for the weekend, just a reminder, if you just joined us, the Pittsburgh Pirates broadcast against Cleveland, that game has been postponed tonight. It's going to be made up tomorrow, part of a split doubleheader. Game 1 will be a 12:45 airtime. Game 2 will be a 6:45 airtime. We'll have both those games right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Let's turn our attention back to Sun Belt Conference Media Days. Michael Adams joins us. He's been around the Sun Belt for a few years. He's back home in the Mountain State, and he's covering sports across the Mountain State for West Virginia Sports Digest. He now joins us on the program. Michael, good talking to you again. And again, you've been unbanned from the program, so hopefully we can keep it that way. Let's keep you unbanned.
We're going to try, right?
Absolutely. I mean, we're going to try to ban you again or unban you. I mean, because after all, in years past, as you covered the Sun Belt independently of Marshall, you kind of rankled some people. You kind of torqued a few people. I mean, that's fair.
That's fair. That's a fair assessment.
Okay, but you're back.
I'm back home now.
Yeah.
I'm embracing the Marshall culture.
Right.
Matter of fact, I'm really embracing the Marshall culture. So let's get it going.
All right, let me ask you there. Let me start there before we get into this. How have you embraced the Marshall culture, or what does that look like to you?
Well, I mean, if you think about Marshall, I kind of, this might have been what really kind of got a lot of people under skin. I understood the Marshall fan base. You know, I having gone to school there, been a fan all my life, grew up just up the river in Point Pleasant. You know, I remember going to games with my dad when I was little. The Marshall fan culture is kind of unique in a way because they're very dedicated, they're very loyal, and they have such this whole idea that, you know, Marshall is the greatest school on the planet, and it really is. If for the people that go there, for the people that have been a part of the community, it really is the greatest school on the planet. And I just think that that's the way you got to look at it. Like, you know, look at it from a fan standpoint. What do they want? Do they want that daily coverage of their school? Do they want to see everything about Marshall that's going great? Or do they want to just be reminded that, or do they want to be told that, no, you're not really that great? So, you know, embracing the Marshall culture, it's great. I mean, it's home. It's, I was on, you know, at the state baseball tournament, looking at the baseball field, and Paul, you were in college a little bit before me, but not too long. There's not too big of a gap. But just seeing that baseball stadium it warmed my heart, because when I was in school there, I didn't even know we had a baseball team until I started working at the Parthenon. So, you know, it's kind of that whole thing of like, people are proud, embrace being proud, and try to, you know, provide that whole, yes, this is Marshall, this is what we love, and we're going to stand by that and fight for it till the death.
I appreciate you trying to also soften the blow. Dude, I'm turning 55 in August. I'm here for it, man. I'm glad I got this far, not using product at all. We're just going to let the white come. I'm good with it. I'm chilling. I'm loving this part of my life. So, yeah, I appreciate you trying to soften that blow. But, yeah, I've been around a long time. Baseball was not a thing at Marshall until this ballpark. And even when it was a thing at Marshall, really wasn't a thing until this ballpark got built.
And even the softball field, like, you know, I walked by the softball field after my windshield got shattered with a baseball and started parking up to, well, I think it shattered, it got hit. But, you know, I started parking the softball field, walking by that softball field, man, that was such a beautiful facility compared to what I saw out the window at my dorm room at in Twin Towers when I was in school there. So to see where Marshall has come after being away for so long, man, it is so wonderful, and it really does warm my heart. And I love to see the progress that they've made at Marshall. Teddy Klumper was a classmate of mine. I knew him when I was in school. He's done a fantastic job with the Big Green, and it just warms my heart to be back and kind of to see all the progress that's been made for the 20-some years that I was in Texas.
Before we go into what's happening with the Sun Belt, you mentioned being a roommate with Teddy. Was he always this delusional when it came to the Cleveland sports scene? Was he always this delusional?
Well, I'm going to correct you because we weren't roommates, but I knew him. And
all right. You kind of knew him. You knew him, but you can't really vouch for him, or I get it.
I can vouch for the Cleveland sports love, but I mean, I'm a Chicago sports nut, and so take that for what it is.
No, I get it. I absolutely get it. But like, hey, this is Teddy Klumper, does a fantastic job. Oh, but he's a Cleveland sports fan, and I always have to preface that because the one thing I love about the guy is if Cleveland should get a miraculous win, say the Browns do get a rare win these days over the Bengals, Teddy will have to let me know about it.
Mm-hmm. And and rightfully so, because being a Cleveland sports fan, to my knowledge, is not for the faint of heart.
No, it's not. He's basically. I got it in stereo all the time when Woody Woodrum was still with us, and so Woody was the ultimate Cleveland sports fan, and now Teddy carries that on. Does a fantastic job. Again, I love the guy, except I shake my head at his Cleveland sports fandom. I just do.
We all have our quirks.
Yeah, we sure do.
I don't look at it that way. So
no, I do. Because again, look, man, I equally hate all teams in the NFC and the AFC and in every division that do not wear the orange and black of the Cincinnati Bengals. That's the one true thing about me. I hate them all.
Fair. That's a fair thing. I mean, now if he came across and say he was a Cardinals fan, I don't know if I'd speak to him. I actually ended a date once in Austin because the girl said she was a Cardinals fan.
Oh man. Okay, I get it. No, I'm not going to go that far. I like the guy. I think he does a fantastic job. I just shake my head at him when I see him in his Cleveland stuff. But we have definitely gotten off topic, which we do at times on especially on a Friday. So hey, new voice. Kinda. Mm-hmm. You were covering the West a little bit more last year and years before when you were based in Austin for the publication you were involved with there. So now you've got this East Division slant as you were covering Sun Belt Conference media days, both East and West days. Change of perspective. What's it look like to you now on the East side? As you try to ingrain yourself a little bit more on the better side of the Sun Belt Conference. And
I'm going to agree with you. Even when I was on the West side, I always said the Eastern Division has been the best top to bottom. Last and it looks a lot different this year, right? Texas State's not in there, not around anymore. You don't have that big, powerful offense G.J. Kinney had down in San Marcos. But you still got some good teams. Troy was a very good team. They were young last year. They actually went into San Marcos and beat Texas State, kind of the same way Texas State lost to Marshall. And there was about a stretch of 4 or 5 games there. I think Texas State lost in the second. They had a big lead in the first half and then just lost it in the second half. But Troy is going to be the team in the West. I think you could probably make a case for Louisiana. They're always good. But I tell you the team, and this is probably going to get me back on that hot seat. I think the team people are discounting is Louisiana Tech. And I think Louisiana Tech is going to be able to come in, compete, maybe not for the division, but they're going to be up there. But, I mean, top to bottom, talent-wise, the East Division is going to be, just as it has been, I would say, over the last several years, it's going to be the cream of the crop. And James Madison, I think, still the standard, but I think there's in that division 4 or 5 teams and that could easily dethrone the Dukes.
Before we let you continue, Texter wrote in and said to fully embrace Marshall again, Mike will have to renounce all things Texas State. Then he will be fully embraced again by the herd. So You want to go
Fair
ahead?
enough.
You want to go ahead and put that out there now? You're renouncing all things Texas State.
I'm tearing the Texas State stickers that I was bullied into putting on my computer off my computer right now.
All right, I expect
So,
pictures
there
of
we
it on
go.
social.
Oh, there will be.
Fair.
There will be. Now someone's going to have to get me a Marshall sticker so I can put it on my computer. But we'll get there. We'll get there. It'll be there.
You could just go to the bookstore and get one of those yourself, dude.
I know. I was kidding.
No, you weren't. Seriously, no, you weren't. No, you're
will
lobbying.
say-
You're lobbying now. You're hoping that the guys from the Thundercast are listening in today, and they're gonna send you a Thundercast sticker as well. I don't have stickers. They do. So I know what you're doing.
I will say though, my car has already been rebranded. I have a Marshall sticker on the back of my car. The West Virginia, green West Virginia outline with a big M on it. So, the car has already been taken care of.
Fair. Absolutely fair. Michael Adams is joining us. We're having a good time with him. West Virginia Sports Digest. He's back now covering the Thundering Herd again, back to his roots here in West Virginia. So you, unlike a lot of the members of the media that were covering Sunbelt Conference Media Days, they were targeted, and so – and rightfully so. There are some people that were there on hand doing, a lot of long-term work. You were covering it as well from a lot of angles. What was your first takeaway, or what are some of the things that you were looking at and you're working on? Because I know you asked the question of Coach Gibson and the players about where they finished in the preseason poll, asked if there was a little disrespect there. And I know, that wasn't just an isolated question. What were you looking at when you're trying to, see where the coaches think everybody lands?
I really think, if you look at Marshall on paper, this is a very good, and I'm going to say this, and you might get some text, but if you look at Marshall's offense, that offense is as good as Texas State's was last year. And I know people don't want to hear me keep comparing it to Texas, but that offense is good. Carlos Del Rio is a good passer. I think the difference between him and what Brad Jackson was last year, he's got better legs. He can make a play out of the pocket if he doesn't have a receiver to throw to because he's got some legs on him. And I think, to me, coming from that question really came from me because I really felt that it was kind of a disrespect. Because if I look at the Sun Belt East, I think you got James Madison, Georgia Southern, and then I think Marshall kind of sneaks in right there underneath, but they might be better than both of those teams if they can get the defense, because to me, the third place pick is kind of a disrespect, but it also kind of makes sense because Marshall's defense was really kind of the question mark last year. And I think Tony Gibson did a good job in the offseason in recruiting and in the transfer portal, addressing that. And if they get that defense going, I think Marshall's right there in that conversation. So my question kind of came from that point of all right, you were picked to finish third. I know you guys have high expectations going into this. Does that feel a little rude, disrespectful to you? And I kind of wanted to see what they said, and I got the answer I was kind of expecting. No, man, we embrace it. It's what we wanted. But, I kind of got a feeling that there was a little hard feelings there over that. And, I think we'll see it. I think we're going to see that play out in the season. So that's where that question came from.
I flip a little bit on that because if you look at last year's standings, as you're familiar with, James Madison's 1, Old Dominion's 2, Coastal's 3, Georgia Southern's 4, Marshall's 5, App State 6, Georgia State 7. You look at this year's predicted order of finish, and it's almost chalk in the East, except Marshall flips with Coastal Carolina. Marshall's picked third. Coastal drops to fifth. I look at it from the point of view that you really can't go against James Madison until they're knocked off. Old Dominion was right there, so they could knock off James Madison. But here's Marshall, not a single first-place vote, and was able to manage third. So I was pretty happy with third because James Madison's top dog until knocked off. No pun intended. That's the top dog until someone comes in and finds a way to be better than them.
And I don't disagree with you, and I'll tell you something. I think Marshall's schedule is going to be their biggest hurdle because they go to James Madison, they go to Old Dominion, they go to Georgia Southern. Those are 3 really tough conference road games they're going to have to play. Now, I'm going to preface that by saying, and I went and looked this up today, Marshall has never lost in Harrisonburg. So just going to throw that out there. Marshall was 2-0 in Harrisonburg since both teams joined the conference in 2022. So can they go into James Madison, and that's a conference opener? They go into James Madison and they beat James Madison in Harrisonburg. Marshall, that's some momentum going into the rest of that conference. So, I don't know if I don't know if I just felt like I believe personally that Marshall can do better than third place, because I sort of do. But I think Marshall's biggest struggle is going to be their schedule, because it is a brutal road schedule. They've got a really tough road path, I guess, if you will. I can't really talk, so there you go.
Michael Adams is with us, West Virginia Sports Digest, the Sunbelt Conference Media Days held a few days ago, and East Division shaping up to be almost chalk. If Marshall can be a disruptor, Marshall might be even better than third. That's what we're looking at. And, of course, we all think that due to where Marshall ended up with a lot of its selections. Carlos Del Rio Wilson was the most obvious pick for player of the year on the offensive side of the ball. And then you look at some of the things that Carlos has to work with, and a lot of returning players, a lot of weapons there. You get on the preseason all Sunbelt first team offense, you get 5 guys, and then you get a first team defense pick as well. So a lot of people are looking at this as, okay, this offense is going to be explosive. Going back to your point with the defense, that's going to be the big deciding factor here. And I think with a guy like Tony Gibson, he's not going to let that defense be what holds this team back. With his background, if that defense is not where it needs to be, I think Gibson, he talked about winning championship or it's a disappointment. I think that defense is going to be much better because he's known as a defensive coach. He personally probably took a lot of offense to how that shaped out last year.
Right, and I agree with you, and I think I tell you the other thing that I'm going to point out, because I also asked Carlos Del Rio Wilson the question of where would you like to see your name as far among the Marshall great quarterbacks and that whole lineage of great quarterbacks that come through Marshall. And, he said, I want to be with Byron. I want to be there with Byron Leftwich and Chad Pennington. And the thing that I noticed when I look around college football and when people talk about quarterbacks and Group of Five, you don't see his name mentioned. And I feel that's kind of misguided. You do see it mentioned in some, and others it's not. It's always, the kid from Boise State, Brad Jackson, all these kids. Or I think there was a quarterback at Oregon State, or maybe one of the Utah schools on the new Pac-12. But I very rarely see his name mentioned, and I think that's a big advantage to him, because if he's not under the radar and he's got the talent, and he does, he can come out and put on some shows, get that offense working, and that defense may not have to do a lot of work because. And they can get settled, because if you're putting up 50-some points a game, as long as you're giving up, you can give up 21 if you're still putting up 51 points a game. And I'm going to still work a phrase from Mac Brown, the team with the most points wins. So I think that might be a blessing in disguise for Marshall.
Week 1, he's got a big chance to showcase himself right off the bat. Week 1, if he has a great performance against Penn State, don't worry. People will be talking about him. You're going to be writing about him, obviously, and it's going to blow up on social media. Week 1, he's got the big opportunity to say, okay, I am here. Here is what I'm about. Win or lose, he has a good game. People are going to take notice of him. At the same time, this is the most secure the quarterback position has been in a long time. I think the last time the quarterback position was secure, you were still a student at Marshall University. Maybe, if I'm doing my math right, that or Rakeem Cato. I don't know which.
I was about to ask you about Rakeem Cato, because I remember that name pretty well, as most people do. But I agree with you. I think he's got the chance against Penn State, and was it Pennington in '98 that went down to Clemson and beat Clemson in one of the hardest stadiums to play ever, and it kind of put him on the map, if you remember that correctly, back in '98.
I was there.
I was there too, and he's got the chance. And I wrote something today, kind of laying out the schedule, and of all the games Marshall has on its schedule to pull off an upset, I think, and people are going to call me crazy, and you'll probably get a lot of calls and emails, but I think that's an upset game in the making because Marshall has a very good tendency over the history of the program to go into these stadiums against these big opponents and play up to that opponent. And Penn State's in a transition year with a new head coach, new roster. There's a recipe there, and I think that could very easily Marshall could go in there and pull off an upset. I think people say I'm crazy, but we'll see come September 3rd. I guess it is a new ball game. So,
and I don't mean to correct you, but Herd fans will correct us if we don't remind everyone that it was 1999. It was a 13-10 victory.
That's correct, 99. That is correct.
I just wanted to save you grief and myself grief now.
Thank you, because I couldn't remember if it was 98, 99. I remember I was dating my college girlfriend at the time, and that's kind of was around the time I was dating her. So yeah, you're right. 99 was the year that happened.
What a tremendous game that was. I'm going to say right now the road trip was not tremendous for me, but the game was.
Those road trips very rarely are.
It was not a tremendous road trip. I'm not going to say too much about that road trip other than it was with my boy Bill Cornwell, and we'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Yeah. Imagine riding in a car all the way to South Carolina with Bill.
Probably had to hear a lot about CK.
What a wonder. Wonders never cease, my friend. Wonders never cease. Michael Adams joining us. Anything else stand out before we let you go? What are you working on? What can we look forward to as you get West Virginia Sports Digest ramped up and ready to go for the upcoming season?
Well, I mean, I'm kind of looking forward to Media Day, getting to meet the players, talk to the players face to face, and I think we'll get a good feel for Marshall's team. One thing I will say that stood out to me, and everybody, Carlos Del Rio Wilson, Tony Gibson, they all spoke about it and said, chemistry is probably the best it's been in a long time in the locker room. And I think with Gibson bringing continuity to the program, Wilson, also, no QB, like you said, no QB controversy. I'm interested to see how this August workouts going up to that September 3rd game. I'm kind of interested to see how those go, and get to talk to him more about Tony, Tony and what he's seeing on the field and stuff like that. I really am excited about this season. I think Marshall's, I think their ceiling is really high. I think I have them the ceiling at 10-2. If Del Rio Wilson takes that next step, and he's that great quarterback that everybody thinks he can be, I think Marshall a 10-2 record is not impossible. But then again, you got to look at the other side of that and what's the floor. And as I mentioned earlier, the road schedule, that's a little tough, and it could very easily put them at 6-6. But it's going to be an interesting season. I'm really looking forward to it, and just getting back out there and being around Marshall again, and even getting to see you up in the press box, Paul. I'm even looking forward to that.
I definitely appreciate that. Okay, so if you think 10-2 is going to be the results, which two are your losses?
The ceiling. The ceiling.
Okay. Okay, but I'm going to still put you on the spot. If you're saying 10-2 is the ceiling, where are the losses?
Georgia Southern, I think, is a loss, and I'm going to go. Even though I said they have the potential to be an upset, I'm going to go with Penn State because that's the safe pick. But would I be surprised to see an upset? No. Georgia Southern and Penn State, I think, are the two losses.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie to you. Those are the two games I was sitting there going, if this team goes 10-2, they're probably gonna lose to Penn State, and it's always Georgia Southern. It's always Georgia Southern. It's always them that come up and ruin my day.
Well, they do have a pretty decent program going on, building down there. So
yeah, they've got a really great program, and I'll say this: even though they ruin my day all the time, some of the nicest people that I've ever dealt with, as far as at least their media group. So yeah,
and speaking of media days, I accidentally stumbled into their press conference because I looked at the Sun Belt schedule and I didn't put the fact that it was Central Time in play. So I was thinking, it's 2:30. It's Marshall's time. I went in and actually got to listen to the Georgia Southern portion of that press conference, and they were Hail State, all those, talking about the program, the community, the athletic department, and just like you just could feel that there was some pride going on down there in Georgia, in Statesboro. So yeah, I think Georgia Southern is a very dangerous opponent for Marshall, and I think Penn State is too. So if they do hit that ceiling, I think those are my two losses. Michael
Adams with his West Virginia Sports Digest. Tell everyone how they can get to the digest.
Go to wvsportsdigest.com, which is also the social media handles for everything. So WVSportsDigest.com. You can go there. Everything's free. No subscriptions, no logins. Just open up the story and read it.
Michael?
And I plan on keeping it that way.
Okay.
So,
Okay, I'm holding you to that.
you can hold me that.
Free for life. Michael Adams, West Virginia Sports Digest. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks, buddy.
All right, thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
There you have it. He's got the Herd ceiling 10-2, losses against Penn State and Georgia Southern. I'm not going to lie. If I was picking 10-2, those would be my losses as well. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. This is The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Summer is here, and that means more motorcyclists enjoying West Virginia's country roads. When we're on the road, it's everyone's responsibility to keep each other safe. So, give motorcycles a full lane width. Check your blind spots and use your blinker when changing lanes. And allow more follow distance behind motorcycles because it takes them longer to stop. These simple rules will help keep everyone safe on the road. Share the road with motorcycles. This message is brought to you by the West Virginia Governor's Highway Safety Program.
Our Kindred Communications family of stations reminds you of the need for blood donations to the Red Cross. Blood is always needed. It may save your life or the life of a loved one. This reminder is brought to you in part by
Genesis Oxygen and Home Medical Equipment, serving Ohio, Kentucky, and West Virginia since 1977. Oxygen, CPAP, wheelchairs, beds, wound care, and more. Most insurance is accepted, 24/7 emergency services. Genesis, a world of difference. Go-Mart, go for good times, go for Go-Mart.
Summer starts here. It's Moses Auto Mall of Huntington 9th Street Live every Friday night in Huntington. Presented by Michelob Ultra, White Claw, Big Timber, and Country Boy Brewing. Friday, July 17th, it's Collins Career Center Night featuring William Matheny with Charlie Overman. The Little Caesars Kids Zone is back, and Go-Mart Happy Hour starts at 5. Enjoy 9th Street libations from the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe, Sip Downtown Brasserie, and Summit Beer Station, featuring Tito's, Milagro Tequila, Rebel Bourbon, High Noon, and Lucky One. The after-show party takes place at Jerk Riley's at Pullman Square. Mark your calendar for August 7th for ONA. The Thundering Herd Rally with Madhouse is August 14th. Sponsored by Wendy's, Huntington Beverage Center, Sods, Apex Tech, The Great Outdoors Marine, Village Caregiving, Thoroughbred Express Wash, the City of Huntington, Marshall University, Blinko Glass Company, Marshall Health Network Arena, and Kindred Communications.
What if your instincts could pay off? With Robinhood Prediction Markets, you could put your sports IQ to work on the games you know best. It's not you against the house. It's you participating in a live market. Buy or sell your predictions all game long. Trade every play with Robinhood. Visit Robinhood.com/predict. That's Robinhood.com/predict. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm.
Looking to elevate your space without breaking the bank? Welcome to Closet 26. We're talking brand new high-end furnishings at a huge discount. From durable statement pieces to decor designed to style every room. Experience the thrill of the hunt with prices you'll absolutely love. Why pay retail when you can find the best for less? Shop smart, shop local. Open 7 days a week, 10 to 6. Closet 26, 8009 County Road, Proctorville. And follow them on Facebook.
You're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
The rest of the way is all yours. Our text line brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop is 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. For those of you joining in early, getting ready for Pirates baseball. Unfortunately, the Pirates game has been postponed. Air quality in Canada has really impacted a lot of the upper portion of the border states, and so due to the dangerous air quality that's right now also impacting Cleveland, the game has been postponed. It's going to be made up tomorrow. It's going to be part of a split doubleheader. Game 1's going to be at 1:10. That's a 12:45 airtime. Game 2 is going to be at 7:10. That's a 6:45 airtime. We're going to have both those games right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. So no Pirates baseball tonight, but we got plenty of time for you. The text line 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. That's your number to be a part of today's show here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Now, I will say this, though. We do have baseball tonight, and then we've got the World Cup wrapping up this weekend, and then after that, it's straight up, let's get ready for football. Talking season is about done. Media days are going on for various leagues, so we're getting to that point now where we're going to start talking more, and then it's going to be fall camp, it's going to be workouts, it's going to be getting ready for football, and I think then at this point, we're going to be a lot happier. Absolutely. And don't forget as well, we got other things that are happening, not just football. Sports season starting up soon for the Thundering Herd. There's soccer starting on August 9th. The men's team taking on Seton Hall's exhibition game. Women's team has got a home game on the 9th. It's an exhibition game against Delaware to get ready for their season. And there are tons of benchmarks that we look at that. So we'll get soccer going on soon. Volleyball starting up in August. And then we get into everything else. Volleyball, by the way, releasing its schedule for the Thundering Herd. Exhibition on August 15th. Exhibition scrimmage, really. It's the green and white scrimmage. It's 8:22. The exhibition on the 15th is Virginia Tech. Niagara gets things started on August 28th. Bucknell as well. Ohio on the 29th. And we go from there. So several games on the schedule. Details available now over herdzone.com as Heather Stout getting her squad ready for the upcoming season. I mean, how cool is that? You get an exhibition game with Virginia Tech. If you look at the non-conference side of things, you get Akron, Indy, IU Indy, Youngstown State, Duke, Belmont, EKU. I love it when the Herd and EKU play. Morehead State's going to be a back-to-back, a home game and a road game. Then you get into conference play with the usual suspects. But it's an interesting schedule, to say the least. Home game with Ohio, that should be a fun one right there. I hope everyone gets out for that. As many as you can get to, but I hope everyone can get out to games like that. But those road games are interesting. Herd's going to be at home 15th through the 29th, and then September 3rd on the road until the 18th, and then a quick turnaround on the road on the 19th of September, and then it's conference play the rest of the way. So if you haven't got your tickets yet, go out and support Heather Stout and her squad. And, of course, we'll try to get her back on soon as we get close to the season, and we got something really fun to talk about with her. Quick timeout. We wrap it up. Today's Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Save big on everything for your next project when you shop at Menards. Give your walls a fresh, updated look with Pittsburgh's Ultra Interior Paint. It's a paint and primer in one that provides a durable, washable finish. Choose from thousands of color options to customize your living space. View our entire selection of paint products today on Menards.com. Plus, check out the weekly flyer to view all of our great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
Big news, Cabell County. King's Tire Service is now open on Route 60 in Ona, across from Cabell Midland. For more than 55 years, we've been serving West Virginia with automotive excellence you can trust. We do more than just sell tires. Our ASE certified technicians are ready to handle all your repairs, from your daily driver to the heavy-duty demands on the job. Our philosophy at King's is simple. We never promise more than we can deliver, and we always give you more than you expect. Stop by our brand new Ona location today, or visit us at kingtireservice.com.
Summer starts here. It's Moses Auto Mall of Huntington 9th Street Live every Friday night in Huntington. Presented by Michelob Ultra, White Claw, Big Timber, and Country Boy Brewing. Friday, July 17th, it's Collins Career Center Night featuring William Matheny with Charlie Overman. The Little Caesars Kids Zone is back, and Gomart Happy Hour starts at 5. Enjoy 9th Street libations from the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe, Sip Downtown Brasserie, and Summit Beer Station, featuring Tito's, Milagro Tequila, Rebel Bourbon, High Noon, and Lucky One. The after-show party takes place at Jerk Riley's at Pullman Square. Mark your calendar for August 7th for Ona. The Thundering Herd Rally with Madhouse is August 14th. Sponsored by Wendy's, Huntington Beverage Center, Sods, Apex Tech, The Great Outdoors Marine, Village Caregiving, Thoroughbred Express Wash, the City of Huntington, Marshall University, Blinko Glass Company, Marshall Health Network Arena, and Kendrick Communications.
Looking for extra space, a dream workshop, or the perfect backyard getaway? Head to Timber Ridge and Flatwoods. They offer high-quality sheds, barns, cabins, garages, playsets, and outdoor furniture, all built to last. Plus, Timber Ridge is your local dealer for Comfort Designs outdoor furniture, bringing style and comfort to your outdoor living space. Whether you're updating your property or creating new memories outdoors, Timber Ridge has you covered. Visit them today at the corner of US 23 and Argolite Road in Flatwoods. Timber Ridge, quality you can count on.
Giovanni's 20th Street is the place to be before, during, and after the game. 14 great beers on tap, plus classic Giovanni's pizzas, pastas, calzones, sandwiches, and wings. Never miss a minute of the action on 10 TVs now at Giovanni's 20th Street. And Giovanni's 20th Street has never looked or tasted better. Under new ownership and management. Dine in, get it to go, or have it delivered. Order online at giovannispizzapower.com. 20th Street Giovanni's, right on Marshall's campus, across from Edwards Stadium.
For 70 years, the Humane Society of the United States has worked to end animal cruelty. Now, we're continuing that mission as Humane World for Animals. We're working around the globe to care for animals who are suffering today. And we tackle the root causes of cruelty for a kinder tomorrow. We bring big ideas, bold action, knowing that together we can make a difference. We're building a humane world where wild animals stay wild and protected, where farmed animals no longer suffer, and no animals are used in experiments, where our companions are cared for throughout their lives. We are Humane World for Animals, driving global change for the end of animal cruelty. Help make change for animals. Visit humaneworld.org.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Follow at Paul Swann on X for Marshall sports updates and more.
Thanks for being a part of today's show. We're wrapping this one up, getting you set for the weekend ahead and, of course, next week. I do want to remind you one more time, for those of you tuning in early for Pirates baseball, the Pirates game against Cleveland has been postponed. It's going to be made up tomorrow, part of a doubleheader. Game 1 will be a 12:45 airtime. Game 2 will be a 6:45 airtime. Both, of course, right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Texter writes in about our guest, Michael Adams, joined us a few minutes ago from West Virginia Sports Digest. Texter says, Paul, for him to truly be once again welcome back to Herd fandom, he has to pick the Herd 12-0, no losses. Marshall's going undefeated. All right, I appreciate the joke here. 10-2 is up the ceiling. That's pretty good. You'll find that Michael's pretty straightforward. He's a good guy, and I think he's going to have a good time covering the Herd this year. And, of course, I look forward to his work and the things that he'll do with West Virginia Sports Digest. And, again, as you heard him say, no subscription. It's going to be ad-supported, so if you would like, check it out, support him, support the socials. It's good to have another voice covering the Herd. I mean, that's the one thing that I have been, I think, a big proponent of over the years is I like more voices because, one, it gives you some different points of view and some different perspectives. I'm going to have a different point of view, different life experience than someone else. Someone will come at it from a different point of view, different life experience. Everything is good to have. And, of course, I will say this. Fortunately, we are in a market where most of the people covering Thundering Herd, none of us are really going after each other. This isn't cutthroat. We're all friends. We can all talk to each other, and that means, we can share ideas and discuss Marshall athletics together and on our different platforms, and it's pretty cool. That's going to do it for this edition. Thanks for tuning in. I will be back with you tomorrow. Nope, sorry. Fake out. I'll be back with you Monday. Yeah, I'm getting my days mixed up here. It's Friday. I'm ready for the weekend. I hope you are as well. Back with you Monday. We do it all over again on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
WRBC Huntington, W227BS Huntington, your flagship home of the Marshall Thundering Herd and The Drive with Paul Swann, ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.